The pace of commercialization of agriculture increased as a result of British revenue policies in India, critically examined. The pace of commercialization of agriculture increased as a result of British revenue policies in India, critically examined. तो यहाँ पे दो चीज़ें हैं, very simple. First of all, secondly, increased, and thirdly, as a result of revenue policies. Examine. Very simple. तो when they use the word increased, it means पहले भी था, अब ज़्यादा हो गया. So we can start with that. Although India has always been exporting textile and spices, which indicate some extent of commercial farming even in the pre-British era, it is in the 19th century British rule, colonial rule, that the extent of commercialization increased massively. Good introduction. ठीक है. Then you come to the next paragraph and start writing, what is this commercialization? It means the agro commodities that are produced, they are not for self consumption but for the market, the cash crops. They could food or non-food, but cash crops. So why peasants decided to become farmers? Why majority peasants wanted to produce or decided to produce cash crops in 19th century? ये सवाल है. That is what they are asking. So we know that there is typical debate. The debate is on nationalist versus apologist scholars. Nationalist, and also you have Marxist versus you have Cambridge scholars. Both of them accept that the pace of commercialization increased, no doubt. Both of them debate why. In the case of nationalist versus scholar, it was a forced process. इनके लिए it was a voluntary process. तो हमें सवाल ये पूछ रहा है कि भाई was it because of the revenue policy? If you say revenue policy, it means because of रैयतवाड़ी, महालवाड़ी, and you have जमींदारी शुरू में, you have excessive demand of land revenue to be paid in cash by the peasant on the time. And to be able to pay that much of revenue in cash on time, you have to produce cash crops. So it is nothing but the forceful nature of commercialization. Why did British want to do that? For their own reasons. उनको पैसे क्यों चाहिए थे, उनका problem है. Maybe they have some financial crisis. Maybe they want to supply that commodity as a raw material to British industry. Maybe they want to supply food, chawal, to British workers. So they want cotton, they want chawal, they want any jute bags. जब सुएज कनाल बनता है 1860s में, तो शिपिंग बहुत बढ़ जाती है, तो जूट बैग्स की इंपॉर्टेंस बढ़ती है, जूट इंडस्ट्री बूम में आ जाती है. दैट इज अ कैश क्रॉप. So you have different reasons of what British wanted, why British wanted it, but the tool that they used over here was firstly land revenue, which was excessive, which was cash dependent, which had to be paid timely without any kind of leniency, with lot of लाठी. सब इसको तो हम मानते हैं, एंड वी कैन गिव एनी एग्जांपल. आरसी मुजुमदार भी है, आरसी दत्ता भी है, दादा भाई नौरोजी भी है. ऑल नेशनलिस्ट एंड ऑल मार्क्सिस्ट यू कैन क्लेम हियर, कोई डाउट ही नहीं है. ऑन द अदर हैंड सम पीपल से नाना इट वाज अ प्रॉफिट मोटिव. It was a profit motive. I have a book here, do I? Yes, of Tirthankar Roy. Tirthankar Roy Sahab is a great economist, and he has written the economic history of India. In that he talks about why it happened, commercialization, और ये सब थोपा हुआ नहीं था. It was not forced compulsorily, fully. There are a lot of other incentives also. So maybe he has his own reason, but you can mention Tirthankar on the other side. तो हम इसको आंसर को लिखेंगे कैसे? पहली बात इंट्रोडक्शन, वो तो हो गया. देन वी टॉक अबाउट the major instruments that were used by British for promoting commercialization. In that, we can talk about the initial experiments of Hastings. We can mention Zamindari, Rayatwadi, Mahalwadi, and we can also mention कि ये सब में डिमांड बड़ी हेवी थी. But apart from land revenues, you have other instruments also. You have trade policy, you have tariff policy, you have the irrigation में investment, you have international market emerging like American Civil War वगैरह, cotton boom, we know that Deccan riots. So we have all these parameters coming together that contributed also. So not only the revenue policy, but also all other policies, and there was some amount of profit motive as well. So वहाँ पे आपकी बात खत्म नहीं होगी. Then you go and write about what was the consequence, what was the outcome of that. So shifting of land from non-food to non-food crop, people became poor, hunger increased, famines increased. अब ये हो गया आंसर आपका खत्म. Now let me add some more point. You see, commercialization of agriculture in itself is not a bad thing. It is a welcome thing. If you read Smith Sarkar, he talks about it in detail. It's actually a very welcome thing. It is a painful thing, but necessary part of modernization of agriculture. But यहाँ पे हुआ ऐसे कि the outcome that should have happened along with the process of commercialization, that is capital accumulation at the top, differentiation within the peasantry, reinvestment and technological upgradation and modern agriculture modernization, वो सारा नहीं हुआ. So even the nature of commercialization was quite distorted and crooked. It was not proper commercialization. इसको मैं आपको ऐसे बताऊं तो आप ऐसे समझो कि एग्रीकल्चर मार्केट में क्या है, आपके इनपुट्स है, आपके पास कैपिटल है, यू हैव लेबर, you have tools, implements, you have agriculture product, and then you have land also. अब बताओ इस सब में क्या क्या कमर्शलाइज हुआ. अगर ये सारा कमर्शलाइज होता है then it would be proper agricultural commercialization. Land became market but of a distorted type. Product was sold in international market, but बाकी सारी चीजें जो है they were not equally marketable, they were not equally modernized. So it is technically not even agriculture commercialization, it is actually the commercialization of only agro products, peasant commodity, PCP, peasant commodity production. So the nature of commercialization was not very conducive for growth. ये हम लाइन लास्ट में लिखेंगे. So you can talk about consequences in two ways. Firstly, hunger and poverty and famines, or secondly, it was a distorted commercialization that led to hunger, poverty and famine. लाइन वही लिखनी है, मैंने समझा दिया लंबा आपको.